Okay, so get ready for this. Um, did you know that like Christmas as we celebrate it today, with all the family traditions and the carols and even Santa Claus might not exist without Charles Dickens?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, the guy who wrote A Christmas Carol.
You like.
But this deep dive isn't about that story.
Okay.
It's about Dickens himself and how his life, like all the twists and turns in his life, shaped the holiday we celebrate today.
Right.
So we're going behind the scenes of a literary legend here.
Yeah.
You've probably heard of Oliver Twist or A Tale of Two Cities, but this is about the Dickens you didn't know.
That's right. Yeah. What's really interesting is that Dickens, he didn't just like invent a feel-good story. He used A Christmas Carol as this really powerful tool for social commentary.
Yeah.
He was holding up a mirror to Victorian society, exposing the harsh realities and urging people towards compassion and generosity.
And to understand like the depth of that message,
Mm.
we need to go back to Dickens' own childhood.
Okay, yeah.
He was born in 1812, right in the middle of the Industrial Revolution.
Mm.
Imagine like bustling factories and new inventions, and society is rapidly changing.
Right.
But this progress came at a cost,
Yeah.
It created this stark divide between the haves and the have-nots, the wealthy and the impoverished.
Absolutely. And this is where Dickens' story really begins.
Okay.
His family, while full of love, they were terrible with money.
Oh, wow.
They really cherished Christmas, even delaying a celebration until their new piano arrived.
Oh, wow.
But, their financial instability stood in stark contrast to the extravagant festivities of the upper class,
Yeah.
really highlighting the inequalities that permeated Victorian England.
And then at just 12 years old, Dickens' world was shattered. His father, burdened with debt, was imprisoned.
Oh, wow.
And this forced Charles to leave school and work in a blacking factory.
It's hard to even imagine.
I know. Imagine the despair of a 12-year-old thrust into like grueling labor, surrounded by poverty and hardship.
Yeah, this experience left an indelible mark on Dickens. It instilled in him a lifelong fear of poverty and this burning passion for social justice.
Yeah.
He never forgot the suffering that he witnessed during these really formative years, and, those memories, they would later fuel his powerful writing.
But Dickens, a true survivor, he was determined to escape that fate. He taught himself shorthand and became a freelance journalist.
Wow.
This wasn't just a job, though. It was like a crash course in human nature.
Right.
He observed every level of London society, from, like the boisterous cab drivers to the hardened prisoners to even the esteemed members of Parliament.
It's amazing, and this is where his genius really blossomed as a journalist.
Yeah.
He honed this really sharp eye for detail and developed a profound understanding of the human condition.
Wow.
He saw firsthand the vast inequalities of Victorian England, the stark contrasts between wealth and poverty, compassion and indifference. And, these experiences, they became the lifeblood of his future novels.
Wow. And then there's Boz, his pen name. It was this like quirky adaptation of his brother's nickname.
Oh, really?
And he published his early short stories under this name. Think of them as these witty, relatable snapshots of everyday life.
Okay.
Almost like reading observational comedy, but a century before stand-up even existed.
Exactly. And this is what catapulted him to fame. Dickens didn't write exclusively for the elite. He wrote about everyone. He captured the struggles, the humor, the hopes of just ordinary people, and it resonated deeply with a wide audience.
By his late 20s, Dickens was an international superstar.
Wow.
His works were mass-produced thanks to the revolutionary printing technology of the time. Picture his portrait like plastered everywhere on posters in newspapers, even on merchandise. He was like the 19th century equivalent of a rock star.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how technology played such a crucial role in shaping Dickens' career. Mass printing, it allowed his work to reach a far wider audience than ever before.
Yeah.
And the expanding railway system that enabled him to embark on his first grand tour of the United States in 1842.
Oh, wow.
A journey that, well, as we'll soon discover, didn't quite go as planned.
Ah, America. Dickens set sail with such high hopes. He really believed in the promise of the American experiment, the land
Yeah.
of opportunity and equality.
Yeah, right.
But what he found was, in many ways, pretty disillusioning.
Oh, yeah.
He was appalled by the rampant materialism, the obsession with celebrities.
It's kind of ironic.
Yeah, a bit ironic considering his own fame. And he was really put off by what he perceived as a lack of social graces.
Wow.
He even had like fans peering through his cabin window desperate for a glimpse of this literary icon.
Oh, wow.
And perhaps even more disturbing were his encounters with the horrors of slavery and the deep-seated racial prejudice that plagued American society.
Yeah.
He visited a Philadelphia prison and was deeply disturbed by the disparity in treatment between black and white inmates. These experiences, they left a profound impact on him, shaking his idealistic vision of America and further fueling his commitment to social justice.
Those experiences in America, they really, alongside his own childhood, they really shaped Dickens's worldview and his writing.
Yeah.
Back in London, facing financial struggles himself, haunted by memories of the blacking factory, he stumbles upon a parliamentary report on child labor.
Oh, wow.
And this moved him, to tears. He felt this moral imperative to make people care, to expose the plight of the poor, the vulnerable.
And remember, this is 1843, the Hungry 40s,
Right.
a time of widespread poverty and hardship in England. Dickens wasn't just writing about social issues, he was living them,
Yeah.
witnessing them on his daily walks through the impoverished streets of London.
This is where the seed for A Christmas Carol was planted.
Wow.
Dickens envisions this story that would strike a sledgehammer blow for the poor, a tale that would really stir hearts and inspire change. But his publishers were hesitant, skeptical that a story about Christmas could carry such weight.
So Dickens, ever the risk-taker, decides to invest his own money
Oh, wow.
to print 6,000 copies of A Christmas Carol. What a gamble.
Yeah.
Imagine putting your own finances on the line for a story you believe in, hoping it would resonate with the public.
And what a resounding success it was.
Yeah.
A Christmas Carol just flew off the shelves, selling out in a matter of days. But the impact went far beyond mere sales figures. It sparked a cultural shift, influencing the way Christmas was celebrated for generations to come.
It's amazing to think that before A Christmas Carol, Christmas was a rather subdued affair for many.
Right.
But Dickens, with his vivid storytelling and heartwarming message, he managed to transform it into the festive holiday we know and love today.
Exactly. He gave us his blueprint for celebrating Christmas with heart, not just lavish spending. Think about it. Family gatherings, reaching out to those who are lonely, carols sung by candlelight.
Yeah.
These traditions, they gained widespread popularity in the wake of Dickens' story.
Even Christmas cards, those cheerful tokens of holiday greetings, can be traced back to the influence of A Christmas Carol. It's fascinating how this one story helped shape the visual and cultural landscape of Christmas as we know it.
But there's a fascinating irony at play here, you see. As Christmas became more popular, it also became more commercialized.
Yeah.
And Dickens himself, a shrewd businessman as well as a social critic, he profited greatly from the book's success through public readings and merchandise.
So in a way, Dickens inadvertently contributed to the very thing he was critiquing.
Right.
The over-commercialization of Christmas. It raises some interesting questions about the complexities of his character and the unintended consequences of even the most well-intentioned stories.
Absolutely. Dickens was a man of contradictions, a passionate advocate for social justice who also understood the power of spectacle and commercial success. He wasn't afraid to use his platform to entertain as well as to inspire change.
Now, let's dive into the heart of A Christmas Carol and explore the characters that have become almost as familiar as our own families.
Okay.
We begin with Ebenezer Scrooge. The embodiment of miserly greed, a man who despises everything about Christmas. He's all bah humbug and icy glares.
Scrooge is this brilliant, brilliant literary creation, a caricature of the worst excesses of individualism and materialism.
Yeah.
He represents the dark side of Victorian society, a stark contrast to the values of generosity and compassion that Dickens championed.
And then, of course, we have the iconic trio of ghosts.
Right.
The ghosts of Christmas past, present, and yet to come.
Yes.
Each ghost takes Scrooge on this harrowing journey,
Yeah.
forcing him to confront the consequences of his actions and offering him a glimpse of redemption.
The ghosts are a masterful narrative device, each representing a different aspect of time and memory. They allowed Dickens to really explore the complexities of Scrooge's character, his past regrets, his present indifference, and the bleak future that awaits him if he doesn't change his ways.
The ghost of Christmas past, ethereal and shrouded in light, takes Scrooge back to his childhood, showing him moments of both joy and loneliness.
Yeah.
We see glimpses of the young Scrooge,
Right.
capable of love and kindness, before greed and ambition consumed him.
This journey into the past, it really emphasizes the transformative power of memory.
Yeah.
It reminds Scrooge of the person he once was, the potential for good that still lies dormant within him.
Then comes the ghost of Christmas Present,
Right.
this jovial giant overflowing with abundance, who reveals the hardships faced by Scrooge's employee Bob Cratchit and his family,
Yeah.
particularly Tiny Tim, their frail but eternally optimistic son.
The Cratchit family, they embody the resilience and spirit of the working class, struggling to find joy amidst poverty and hardship.
Yeah.
Their story is this poignant reminder of the social inequalities that Dickens sought to expose, a call for empathy and compassion towards those less fortunate.
Tiny Tim, with his innocence and unwavering faith, he's perhaps one of the most beloved and enduring characters in literature.
Right.
His famous line, "God bless us, everyone," has become like a symbol of Christmas spirit,
Yeah.
a plea for kindness and understanding.
That line, it just perfectly encapsulates the heart of Dickens' message.
Mm.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, we have this responsibility to care for one another, to extend generosity and compassion to those in need.
And finally, we encounter the most terrifying ghost of all,
Yeah.
the ghost of Christmas yet to come,
Yeah.
shrouded in darkness and silence, a harbinger of a bleak and lonely future.
The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is a masterstroke of psychological terror, you see. It forces Scrooge to confront the ultimate consequence of his actions, the emptiness of a life, devoid of love and connection. We see this future where Scrooge is dead and unmourned, his wealth meaningless in the face of his heartless life.
This chilling vision is the turning point for Scrooge. Faced with this bleak future, he begs for another chance, a chance to redeem himself and make amends for his past.
Right.
He wakes on Christmas morning a changed man,
Yeah.
filled with joy and generosity, eager to right the wrongs that he has committed.
This transformation, it's the heart of A Christmas Carol. The moment of redemption that offers hope and inspiration to readers. Scrooge he realizes that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in human connection and the spirit of giving.
He sends a giant turkey to the Cratchit family, gives Bob a raise, and becomes this beloved benefactor to those in need. Scrooge finally embodies the true spirit of Christmas, not just on that one day, but all year round. And that transformation, that journey from miser to philanthropist is what makes A Christmas Carol such an enduring tale. It's a story that continues to resonate with readers and audiences today, reminding us of the power of redemption and the importance of compassion.
Absolutely, and it raises some fascinating questions about how we celebrate Christmas in the modern world.
Yeah.
What would Dickens think of the commercialism, the excesses, the often forgotten message of social responsibility?
It's almost as if we've become so caught up in the trappings of Christmas, the presents and the decorations and the feasts, that we've lost sight of its true meaning.
In a way, yes, but I think there's still hope. The enduring popularity of A Christmas Carol shows that people are still drawn to its message of compassion and redemption. We can all choose to embrace the spirit of Scrooge's transformation, not just during the holidays, but all year round.
So what aspects of modern Christmas celebrations do you think can be directly attributed to Dickens's influence, and why?
It's fascinating to see how Dickens's vision of Christmas as a time for family, generosity, and reaching out to those in need has become, so deeply ingrained in our culture. The emphasis on gathering with loved ones, exchanging gifts, sharing festive meals, these are all traditions that gain prominence in the Victorian era,
Right.
largely thanks to the popularity of A Christmas Carol.
Even the visual imagery of Christmas, from the jolly figure of Santa Claus to the twinkling lights adorning our homes, owes a debt to Dickens's vivid descriptions and the cultural shift he helped inspire.
Precisely. Dickens helped create this visual and emotional template for Christmas that continues to shape our celebrations today. He tapped into this universal desire for warmth and connection and generosity during the darkest time of year.
But as you mentioned earlier, there's also this darker side to this legacy, the irony of Christmas becoming, increasingly commercialized.
Right.
Even as we celebrate a story that critiques materialism.
Yeah, that's the paradox of Dickens's legacy.
Yeah.
He was this master storyteller who understood the power of both sentiment and
Yeah.
spectacle. While he critiqued the excesses of his time, he also benefited from them. It's a reminder that even the most well-intentioned stories can have, unintended consequences.
Yeah. So how do we reconcile these seemingly contradictory aspects of Dickens' legacy?
Right.
How can we celebrate Christmas in a way that honors both the joy and the social conscience that he so brilliantly captured in A Christmas Carol?
I think it comes down to a conscious choice. We can choose to focus on the deeper meaning of Christmas, the message of compassion, generosity, and social responsibility that Dickens so eloquently championed.
Yeah.
We can choose to be mindful of our spending, to prioritize experiences over material possessions, and to extend a helping hand to those in need.
It's about finding that balance between the joyous celebration and the call to action, the reminder that Christmas is not just about receiving, but also about giving, about sharing our blessings with others.
Exactly. It's about remembering that the true spirit of Christmas lies in the spirit of Scrooge's transformation, in that moment when he opens his heart to compassion and chooses to make a positive impact on the world around him.
So as we enjoy the festive season, let's remember the message at the heart of Christmas Carol. Let's celebrate with joy and generosity, but let's also be mindful of the needs of others, remembering the plight of those less fortunate. Let's all strive to embody a little bit of that transformed Scrooge, not just during the holidays, but all year round.
And perhaps as we gather with loved ones, we can even take a moment to ponder what a modern Christmas Carol might look like,
Yeah.
What social injustices would it address? What would be our ghosts of Christmas, past, present, and yet to come? That's something to reflect on as we celebrate the spirit of the season.